There's a fire in my soul, in my soul. And every time it burns, that's when I know where to go, where to go, where I am to go.
Hello, everybody. I am so glad to be back today with another episode of Behind the Cedar Lens. It's been a while. I've had a really busy spring, and I know a lot of you have as well. And I'm going to try to record a couple more before busy season starts for me in the end of May. Today, I am so happy to welcome Cara Stawiarski. Cara Stawiarski. I had to look at a phonetic thing on your Facebook, Cara. To the podcast, Cara is absolutely amazing. Her business is in Indiana, Evansville area, and her business name is Captivated by Cara. If you are a senior portrait photographer out there, I'm pretty sure that you have seen Cara's work. It is outstanding. She's been on several magazine covers. She wins awards. She's very creative. And what I love the most about her, I think, is she's just very good technically as well, which I think is super important. So welcome. Okay, welcome, Cara. I'm so happy that you're on the podcast today. I can't wait to talk about your work and get to know you a little bit better.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored for you to ask me to do this.
Of course, I love your work.
Oh, thank you.
It
I love
is-
your work too.
Thank you. Your work is very exceptional. Your work just catches my eye every time I'm scrolling Instagram, the senior portrait Facebook groups. Like every time I see it, I just have to stop. And I know it's yours.
Thank you. I
And if
appreciate it.
I don't.
Oh,
see-
I'm glad that you said that because
Yes.
sometimes I feel like, when you're trying to find who you are in photography, you
Yes.
kind of jump around. Like some people, their work.
Yeah.
There are a lot of photographers that I follow, and I'm like, I don't even have to look at the name,
Yeah.
and I know who it is.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like that is not my work.
I do. Now, you do a lot. You do OCF, you do natural light, you do styled shoots, you do regular senior portraits.
Yes.
You do it all, but it's still your work. I can see that clearly.
Yeah. I do put a lot of my own creativity into it. I mean, I do a little bit of, but I have regular seniors, but I
Yeah.
do have a model team where I really push them for what I want to do creatively. And I always say, we're going to elevate Evansville because it's just something that I really want to do and put Evansville on the map with photography, at least senior photography.
Yes. Yes. Well, you're doing that for sure. I ask everyone to send me about 8 or 9 pictures for the podcast that we discuss later in the episode. And she couldn't decide. So she was like, Lori, you decide. And maybe you sent me 15 or 16. I don't know, but it was tough.
And it was tough for me too because I don't know what people are drawn to.
Yeah.
Like I know what I'm drawn to, but sometimes what I think might be really interesting, I don't know if everybody gets what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I just kind
I
of put
feel
it
that.
out there and hope that people are drawn to it in some way by emotion or just something different that they've never thought of. And that is so hard to do these days. I don't know if you feel this way, but with social media, Pinterest,
Oh, yeah.
because now families can start pinning things and saying, I want this and that. And, TikTok, I mean, TikTok just blew it out of the water. Like you can't even think of an idea anymore. When people
No.
do come up with something new, I think, oh, how did they come up with that? Because there's like nothing new out there.
Well, I'll say that after what I call your Space Girl shoot, I'm sure everybody's doing Space Girls. So you may have
Well,
started
that
a trend
actually
there.
it was the eclipse. So I really loved that session because I would like to say that I'm kind of a science girl, but I am not at all. I'm not, but here the eclipse, the time before, this was not when it really went over where
Yeah.
we live. It was kind of off just a little bit. I swear people were like crazy about it here. Like everything shut down and people, they drove miles to see the eclipse. And I was like, really? I'm like, I don't know. Wasn't really into it. So this time around, I was like, oh, I really should do a shoot that's centered around that idea. So, I didn't know if it was going to work because the eclipse came right like I forget what they call it, where,
The path of
the path of,
reality.
yes, yes.
Yes.
So that we were right in it. So I was like, oh, it could be crazy here. And it
Well,
really
let me
wasn't
just stop you for a second. You did these during the eclipse?
during the
I
eclipse.
did not know that.
Yes,
That's
that's what made it so
amazing.
cool. So
I thought you just had interesting, like, off-camera flash
I
settings or
did use
something.
off-camera flash,
Yeah,
but it was actually during the
I
eclipse.
had
Like
no idea.
my husband and my daughter were here at home, and I don't even know if I invited them. I may have told them to come with me, but they're like, no, we're just going to stay home with the dogs. And I asked my 2024 senior model team if they wanted to do it, and no one did. And it was kind of, when you get to the end of the school, it was in
Oh yeah,
April.
they're over it.
They're done. They're
Yeah.
like, nah. I even asked them, I'm like, please, but they had things that they wanted to do during the eclipse. And then I had asked my 2025, so the current senior model team, if they wanted to do it, and they were all for it. And they went all out. They got their own outfits. I kind of just sent them like inspirational photos, and they did really, really well. I mean, they just embraced it. And so, like, some of their family was out there, so we shot right before the actual eclipse happened, and then we stopped and just watched it for a little bit, and it was really cool. And then as soon as it started to leave, we started shooting again. So if you see all the images in like as it comes and goes,
Yes.
it
Like,
drives me a little bit crazy. You'll understand this being a photographer.
yes.
The light is different. Like the background is, light and then dark, and that drives me crazy. It's not
Oh,
consistent, but that was
oh,
part of it. So,
yeah.
but
It,
yeah, those are my little senior model space girls.
that's hilarious. I just didn't know.
Yeah. So there is a backstory to a lot of my stuff. I have backstories,
Yes.
and I'm sure you do too, where
Yeah.
you have
Oh,
those
yeah.
magical moments and
Yep.
um
Or even just something that went horribly wrong, but somehow turned out okay anyway.
yes, that happens all the time. Or
Yeah.
like outfit snafus, and you just make the most of it. And I really didn't know if we were even going to be able to get out to, it's called Bluegrass. It's like an open area. I didn't even know like if the roads were going to be completely shut down because
Mhm.
before and after eclipses, the roads get like traffic is
Oh,
terrible.
yeah. Yeah.
It's really only like 5 to 10 minutes away from my house, but if somebody was leaving, like I saw like these nightmare videos beforehand where people are just like the traffic is just like stacked and you can't get out. So I was like,
Yeah.
make sure you have gas, make sure you have this, make sure you have food, and it was like in and out. We were fine. So yeah, it was good. It was fun, and we had a good time together. It's a good memory to have with some of my
Yeah,
girls.
that's wonderful. Okay, so you're in Indiana. It seems like I have interviewed a lot of Indiana gals for some reason. I haven't intended to do this.
I
And
feel that way too. I feel like there are a lot of photographers in Indiana that
there
are from
are,
groups
or
and
maybe
everything
the
is
ones
fun.
that move in the same circles as us,
Yes,
you
yes, I
know?
think so.
Yeah. So you are at Evansville. Tell me about the town.
So, originally I'm from Michigan. My family moved here. My husband got a job in Evansville. It's been over 10 years now.
Okay.
And so Evansville is more, we're southern Indiana. Like when people say, my family will say, oh, we're going to come visit you. We're going to be in Indianapolis. I'm like, yeah, that's 3 hours away. We're like down by Kentucky. So, um, it's definitely more. I'm, I'm going to say country,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of, cornfields.
Hmm.
It's wide open. There's no, it's so different from Michigan in my eyes. It's more, I feel like it's more family based here, but we do have a downtown area. There's, it's like a city, like a small city, but it's not a city like downtown Detroit is
Right.
completely different. Like the feel is different. I can go downtown Evansville and feel very safe.
Mhm.
And because it's pretty, quiet around here, everything kind of just dies down at night. Sundays are completely quiet downtown there. So when
Okay.
we shoot downtown,
Oh,
there's no, we don't have a lot of
nice.
people in the background kind of thing. So
Ah,
it's kind of nice.
that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it's something about 100, like a little over 100,000 people.
Yes, there's over 100,000 people, but it's, spread out and we
Mhm.
have, a good amount of families here,
Yeah.
but it's very small town. Like if I go out and say, "Oh, do you know so and so?" Someone's going to know them. I mean, it's just everybody knows everybody here, so it's a small town feel even though it is a city.
Do you feel that senior portraits are pretty big in your area?
Yeah, I think so. That's the big difference between Michigan and here. When I was in Michigan, I mostly shot weddings and families. And I
Hmm.
think that was just more because, my kids were at that age, so I knew families and it was easier to do. But moving here, it's very different. Michigan, it was almost as if people would hire you to do photography because it was Tuesday. I mean, they would book you for anything, like
Oh,
a
sure.
birthday party,
Yeah.
like they could think up anything. Here, it's mostly weddings,
Mhm.
senior photography, and that's about, I mean, there's really not much. When I moved here, I thought, oh my gosh, it's a gold mine
Mhm.
because there's nothing, there's no photographers. Well, what it was all studios. It was just a few
Oh.
studios and everyone was very loyal. So in Michigan, everyone just jumps like, oh, they have the
Oh,
mini
okay.
session. I'm going to go there. Oh, this one has a mini session. I'm going to go to that
Oh,
person.
okay.
So coming here, it was hard to break into the market, but once you do, everyone kind of just sticks with you. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, you don't have to, hire me for everything. Yeah, there's other photographers that specialize in this or
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm never offended by that.
Yeah. I'm
Everybody has
constantly
their,
referring people. I'm like, you know what? I don't do branding photography.
yeah.
This person does. I know she does a great job. I'm going to send you her way, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I do that as well as with my seniors because I don't take as many seniors as some photographers here. I kind of cut it off at 20 to 25.
Oh,
And so once I hit that number, I'm referring to my other photographer friends and I'm just like, hey, I've got this one, they're going to contact
yeah.
you. So I give, like 3 or 4 names and,
Right.
I know they're going to do a good job. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to let them have the business. I think there's enough here where we can all have an ample amount of
Oh,
work.
yeah. I think that a lot of people, just around in my community think that me and other senior portrait photographers around me have some sort of rivalry.
Yeah.
I don't feel that because like
No.
the high school that I live in the area of is named Mill Valley, and there's 1,400 kids at Mill Valley, which means the senior class has at least 200 seniors. I
Yeah.
can't photograph all those kids.
Right.
There has to be more people to photograph all those kids because
Right.
we need senior portraits. And
Yeah.
we're all at different price points and styles. And so I don't feel
Exactly.
the only time I feel competition is if I feel like someone too close to me is emulating what I do.
Yeah.
That upsets me a little bit because there's so
Yeah.
many ways to take a picture in the same location, and I just think some people should try a little harder to be a little bit more
That is
in
really
their own
hard.
style.
Yes.
But
I completely
otherwise,
agree.
whatever. I'm all for the kids need pictures. I can't do them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, exactly. And it is hard as a photographer, senior photographer, even here being in like a city like feel.
Yeah.
And I always say Evansville is only so big. I mean, we're on top of each other, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
I even feel like, oh gosh, we're gonna shoot in this spot again because that's all there is. And
Yeah.
there's cornfields, but there's no flower fields. And that's a huge thing.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, with senior girls,
Yeah.
have them fill out the, information of what they want.
They want
I
the
would
flower.
say like 80% of the time, maybe 90,
Oh,
a girl will say, I want to be in a white dress in a flower field. And I'm like, that is amazing, but we have cornfields. So we have to think of other ways we maybe
you,
have like a week of
yeah.
flower field.
There are some like actual commercial flower fields where they plant them for photographers and they charge, but they're none within easy driving distance from
Yeah.
me. But there's a huge city park near me that has some undeveloped land that is wild, has tons of
Yeah,
wildflowers.
we don't even have that.
Oh, that's
We
tough.
have like a small garden area, and as photographers, we're looking for things like that. Sometimes it doesn't have to be huge. Like it doesn't really have to be a field of flowers,
No, a
but
small area
a
can get a
garden
great
would
look.
be perfect. But there's
Yeah.
not a lot of that. I don't know if it's because of the heat here or what, but I mean, even in my own yard, I can't keep things alive because it is very hot in the summer. That direct heat is like blazing hot.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's hot here. I'm in Kansas. I
Yeah.
don't know if I mentioned that. I'm in Kansas. Summer is brutal, but we still have wildflowers. So I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on with your
I
southern
don't know.
Indiana
I
lack
don't
of
know.
wildflowers.
I know you would think there'd be a lot since it's hot.
Somebody
You
needs to
could
buy
think.
some seeds and let them float in the
I know. Well, I've
wind.
talked about that where if I knew someone that had some property, I would just be throwing some wildflower seeds or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I love flowers, so
Yeah.
it's
I talked to April
definitely.
Manning. I don't know if you know April.
Yes, I love April. I love.
Yes. And she has her own acreage where she plants flowers.
Yes, she does.
Oh,
And you've talked to Trisha.
yes, yes.
She has her own space, but you should see my yard I back up to somebody else's yard, so I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
they'd
I
appreciate it.
have my own space, but it's my family farm that's an hour and a half away, and I
Oh
don't want
yeah.
to drive
So
down there every night. So
yeah. I probably would camp out all summer there.
my mom would like that.
Yeah, oh, that's sweet.
Yes. Okay, well, let's talk about your gear. Like, what brand do you use? What are your favorite lenses? Give me all the details.
Yeah, so I shoot Canon. I've shot Canon since I was in high school. That's what my dad had as a camera and gave that to me when I was in high school. And so I started on that and I don't know, I never switched. I mean, I'm sure there's probably fun stuff with Sony and I don't know. I just can't
Yeah.
once you start buying
Oh,
gear,
yeah.
I know people that have switched over to something else, and I'm like, why? Oh my gosh, that would be so much work. And
Yeah.
I can see why they do it sometimes, but there's no way. I'm way too lazy for that.
Same.
So I shoot mirrorless, and then I mostly shoot with my 50 millimeter because I do think it's just versatile and sometimes
Yeah.
it's easy just not to keep switching my lens. But I do use a 70 to 200 sometimes when I want some good bokeh. I do shoot with a wide, but my wide is my oldest lens, not my 50, which that makes no sense. But when I started out, I was like, I really want something where I can zoom and get back. And someone just sold me on a wide. So I just bought yesterday a 24 to 70,
Oh,
which
nice.
I'm so excited about.
Yep.
So I'm definitely going to start shooting because I want to do more. I kind of lean towards more editorial feel. So
Yep.
I want to do a little more of that this year. Um,
Yes.
but 50 is probably my safe zone, and I typically pick that out.
That's so interesting because usually when I talk to other photographers, they say 85. Everybody
Oh, I
says
want an
85
85.
millimeter.
Yeah, I
And
want an 85.
what's that?
I really want one.
Yeah. I've had an 85. I love them. It's so hard. Like I would own all the lenses if I could, but that's kind
Yeah.
of wasteful. So, but most people say 85. Very few people mention 50 as their go-to.
I
Um,
I think it's because I can do like, you just use your feet to zoom, but I
yeah,
can get in close and then I
yeah,
can back up and
yeah.
get it all in instead of
Well,
changing my lens.
I'm big on lens distortion, seeing it, understanding it. A lot of people use 35 millimeter, and I mean, they rock that, and that's great. I don't like it. Maybe I don't know how to shoot with the 35, but under certain circumstances, I'll use one if I
Yeah.
want to have that. Really, I think there's a lot of distortion on faces
Oh
at
yeah.
35 millimeter. I'll use a 35 if I'm photographing a girl who maybe has some extra weight and kind of a full face, and she might express to me that she feels uncomfortable with that, then I'll pull out my
Yeah.
50 or 35. And I feel like there is a slimming effect on faces at the wider
Yeah.
angles.
There is, but I know what you're saying because a lot of
Yeah,
times when I shoot with my wide, which it goes, I forget what it is, but it's 16 to something.
yeah,
And when I get down on the ground and in certain angles, it's like all of a sudden the face is like elongated really weird.
yes, yes,
So you have to be careful of that. And that I know is going to be a kind of learning curve for me
yeah,
because I don't use my wide a lot. The 50 is a 50. I feel
yeah,
like it's kind of just a mid-range, you
yes,
know?
yes. I agree. And in fact, I carry at every shoot, I have my 135, which is my main one, and then I do carry a 50.
Yeah.
And I like it. I used to have a 35 as my second. I just couldn't get over the distortion. I just
Yeah.
like people's faces, it just changes them too
And
much.
I think clients feel that way too, because I try to do a mixture of everything, with the shots, like I'll do real basic shots, but then I'm like, okay, now you're going to jump up in the air. I'm
Yeah,
like, you may not like it, but that's okay.
sure.
So even with lenses, I'll do that. Like I'll switch the lens up and do something different. And I stick it in there, and a lot of times they won't pick it because
Mhm.
it is different. And like I
Yeah,
said before, I don't know if everyone's getting my vision.
yeah.
So I don't want to force them into 100% into my,
Oh, yeah.
thinking.
Yes. And I don't mean in this talk about 35 millimeters. I did want to say to anybody watching, we are not criticizing anyone that
Oh,
chooses a
no.
35 because
Some
you're
people do
choosing
it.
that because that's the style you love.
Yes.
For us, we just have reservations about it, but we have our own likes and dislikes. So,
Absolutely. I feel like some people can do that.
oh,
And I don't know how they're doing it. I'm like, how
sure.
how did you make it look like that? Because when I get down on the ground and I'm shooting, all of a sudden the person's like, their face
Yeah,
is like super long, or like their head is like smushed weird.
I
So
know, or like, the elbows look giant. Like,
yes, and I kind of like that because I kind of want that, even
yeah,
this does it. Like, I want that kind of
right. The
look where you can kind of
breaching.
like frame the face like
Yeah.
that. But sometimes it doesn't look right, and some people can just rock that.
I
But
know. I
I
know.
don't know what it is. We need someone to teach a class on it,
I
maybe.
know on the teeny tiny, very esoteric points that nobody else talks about, but it's like,
Mhm.
how do you get somebody's arms at a 50 millimeter to look like this and not overly broad or what? I don't know.
Yes,
I just
yeah.
made that up. That doesn't really fit, but
Well, and I think
just teeny tiny things.
that's probably why we start picking favorites
Yeah.
because when we see it on a computer screen and
Yes.
on our monitor,
Yeah.
we like it. And then, I might sometimes be like, oh, I'm not going to use my wide again. Look how terrible. I wasted all
Mhm.
that time on all these
Yeah.
shots and it doesn't even look good or it's not in focus. Mine was very soft and that's why I need to buy
Um,
a new one. And
yeah.
so my daughter is an artist and she's like, Mom, you got to get a new wide because those are the shots that are really cool. I'm like, I agree. I really want to do them. But every time I take the pictures, I'll take 10 of them and the person's face is not in focus. So
Yeah.
it's warped looking. And I'm like, I
Uh-huh.
just can't
Hmm.
send this to them because I don't feel comfortable letting them see something that isn't, to my standard, I
Right.
guess.
Now, how old is your daughter? I have a theory about this.
My daughter is going to be 20 in June.
Okay. Okay. So this generation has grown up with iPhones. And the iPhone lens, I looked this up one time and I don't remember exactly, but it's something like 26 millimeter. So they are so used to seeing pictures taken with essentially a 26 millimeter that to them, super wide is like cool and what
Yeah.
they're accustomed to with their eyes. But that doesn't mean that it's photo like professionally, most people would
Right.
not choose to shoot a 26 millimeter.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. Well, and camera phones have changed a lot of things for positive things
yeah.
and negative for
Mhm.
photography. And I think with young individuals, I think that
Yeah.
they are drawn to different things, and it's young eyes looking at it, so they get a lot of feedback. Posing drives me crazy with girls and phones, and I have to tell my models, we're not taking Instagram photos, we're
Yes.
taking photos that are for
Portraits.
your pictures.
Yes.
And, if I'm doing something editorial, I don't want this.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking away, and I'm like, I can't even see your face.
Mhm.
Or their eyes are like way over here. And
Yes.
they're just so used to doing it. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
And I love that they're expressing themselves,
Yeah.
but they get in these habits and they all do that where they're like,
Yes.
I'm like, oh gosh. I'm like,
And they
let's
all
stick
want to
with
look
that.
away with their eyes closed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you look at their Instagrams, there's like a group of girls in an Instagram post. One of them always is looking away with their eyes
Yes,
closed.
yes. And I let them do all of those.
Yes.
I
Oh,
I think,
same,
okay,
same.
just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And I'll put those in too for you because I know they love them.
Yes. It's
And
well,
I
they
post them
call
on
it
my
candid.
Instagram too. I'm like, okay, you
Yeah.
have to do it to attract, you know,
Yes.
the girls. And,
Yeah. But they
I
call it candids, and I think what they're referencing is back
don't think
in
those are
the film era.
candid.
We used to call it, oh, he messed up, he ruined the picture. Do you remember? Like in the film era, if somebody closed their eyes during a picture,
Yes.
oh
Or the
my
blurry,
God, the picture was
that
ruined.
blurry trend is
Yeah.
another one. I mean, how long have we tried as professionals
Yeah.
not to have any kind of blur unless it was intentional?
Mhm.
To have blur in your
Oh
photo,
yeah.
it was embarrassing,
Oh
and
yeah.
now it's fine.
Yes.
All of it.
And even desired. And that my theory on that is as we get more and more and more perfect with the images we can produce, we now have a desire to go backwards and
Yeah.
start to artfully create things that aren't perfect.
Yes.
And like I have my twin sister is very into the imperfect. Like
Mm.
if I do a shoot and I have one that's, on purpose blurry and from behind and very kind of poetic, so that's what appeals
Yes.
to her.
Yeah.
And not the very perfect, proper portrait.
Yes.
So anyway,
Yeah.
this is interesting.
I would say I'm a little of both.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Me
I like,
too.
I'm drawn to both, but it
Yeah.
has to be done right.
Yes, agree. So you started in high school in photography
I did. Yeah. So,
in the film era.
yeah,
Yeah.
a long time ago. It was in the 90s.
Okay.
So, and I don't remember exactly how it happened because it was way too long ago. But my dad had an old Canon film camera and he gave it to me and said, you should see if you like to do this. And then I got into the yearbook class or
Yeah.
whatever it was. But I remember we went to over the summer we went to a workshop at Central Michigan University. I took the camera and I they had a photography part of it. My teacher wanted me to go and learn, and I was just so interested, like how it worked, the dark room, just
Hmm.
everything about it. The
Yeah.
rule of thirds and learning about, just composition. And I just happened to gravitate towards it and I was okay at it. So
Yeah.
um
More than okay.
yeah, well back then
Yeah.
we're talking about like people not really getting me. My journalism teacher got me. He was a photographer. I would take like really different pictures and, more, kind of like editorial newspaper look. No one else like that was a kid was
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
So I won some awards when I was a high schooler through that. And then, I went to college. I thought I wanted to be a photographer, and it was so much time. That
Yeah.
dark room, trying to do all my stuff, and it was expensive buying film.
It is.
And but I love being in
Film
the
is
dark room.
ridiculously expensive. It always
And I was in college. I
was.
wasn't,
Yeah.
I didn't have a job. I was not getting paid to do it. So, and it took up so much time in the dark room when I wanted to be with my friends and wanted to do
Mhm.
other things.
Right.
So, and I did tell my mom that I wanted to do an art major, and I think she almost had a heart attack because she
Like,
was
how are
like,
you going to make
"What
a
are you going to do with
living?
that?"
Yeah.
So that scared her a little bit. And I don't want to say she talked me out of it, but I was like on the fence. So I just did communications and then got, a
Yeah.
real job in automotive
Yeah.
um for 13 years I did that, and I really missed, and then digital cameras came at that time. So I missed it. The economy got bad at one point,
Yes.
scared me. So I
Mhm.
was like, well, maybe I could just pick this up and do this part-time just for fun and just make a little money. So I would just second shoot weddings, and then I would also shoot families, and then we ended up moving and came here, and it was different demographic,
Yeah.
and I kind of found my space, and I love senior
Oh
photography.
gosh.
I really, it's just like a great age. They're easy to work with. You're not working with a
Yeah.
little kid that's crying and not wanting to get the picture taken. They come to you because they want their pictures
Oh,
taken.
and they're so darn good looking at that
Oh
age. I
gosh, I
mean,
know.
I I'm always photographing these girls like, oh my gosh, this is,
I know. I
do
know.
they
I
even
feel like
understand how
I don't
perfect
remember looking like that when I
I
was
know. Did
there.
we? I don't think so.
No,
I don't know what's
I
going on.
I don't know either. I don't know. This different world now, but I mean they really are they and I feel like they're so um my clients are like over the top, just wonderful people.
Oh
Like the
yeah.
things they're involved in, and I mean literally like I didn't do anything when I was a kid compared to them. I lived on a lake. We would sit by the lake, all summer long, and I
That
had
sounds
cheerleading
nice.
practice, and I would eat and watch some TV. That
Yeah.
was it. These girls are like volunteering, and the guys too, but I mostly work with girls, but they're volunteering. They're in three sports. They have a job. They do this. I mean, I I don't even know where it comes from. I'm like, how do you have all this energy? And then they come camera ready every time. And I think, how
I
is this
know.
possible?
I know. They girls today and guys are very good at
Yeah.
multitasking.
Yes.
So anyway, well, we're gonna get to looking at your work. This is one of my favorite pictures that you've ever taken. This was
Oh,
of the eclipse ones.
yes.
And I'll tell you, I have a little story and one to show you of mine. I had a similar shoot planned, and then you came out with this, and I'm like,
Oh, wow.
damn.
Oh,
And
that's so funny.
I know it wasn't totally, but a little bit. And you'll see, I ended up going a little bit different direction because I didn't want to look like I was copying your your space.
Oh, gosh. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have thought that.
Well, no, I mean, still, it's just best to do your own thing, you know? And
Yeah, I get it.
yeah. So this is fantastic.
Thank you.
Um,
Well, this is one of my models, Gracie. I mean, it really is her. I mean, she did really, really well. I mean, she knows how to pose pretty well, and she's funny when I work with her. I'll say something like, "Oh no, this isn't working," and I'm talking about, my lighting and the way I have it set up, and she'll say, "I can do better," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, girl, I was talking about the light."
well, every time I see this girl, I think, what is Brittany Mahomes doing in Kara's pictures? You know who she is?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she did really good. I mean, she found this outfit, and she and her mom are really good about going above and beyond with outfits and
Yeah.
just being ready for any possibility. And in the photography life.
Yes.
So yeah,
So tell me, okay, this is off camera flash.
it is off camera flash. Yes.
And is everything here original to like what you captured with your camera, or did you add in,
Okay,
sky?
okay, so there was that's a great question.
Yeah,
Pretty much yes, except for the flare. I added a little more of the
yeah,
flare in the ball because I
right.
wanted, if you zoom in on it, it has like a little halo kind of ring. So that
Yeah.
flare, I just added that to it. But everything
Okay.
else, I mean, of course, I contoured her face and things like
Oh,
that.
sure, sure.
But if you saw the straight out of camera look, it's pretty close.
Wow. Impressive.
But I usually don't do a lot of direct sunlight
Mhm.
with off-camera flash. But after I did this, I was like, man, I got to use that more because I really do love the look.
If I had taken this, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself. I can barely stand it.
Okay, so and this happens at a lot of sessions, especially this one because it was this was right before the eclipse started. Um, I just all of a sudden I can't think anymore and I'm in like I don't want to say panic mode, but I'm just in like go mode
Right.
and I can't think straight. I don't know if you feel like that when
Oh,
you
I
shoot.
do.
Like all the things I want to do just go fly out the window and I'm like it just is what it is. It is
I
what like
know.
I keep telling myself it's just going to either I'll get it or I won't. I just have to live with it.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I have a model team. I don't do group shoots. We just do styled shoots. And there's a few times where I've gotten the girl with me and I had all this vision in advance and somehow I get her out into the location. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I have no, what do I do?
I know. And
How do I?
I do the same thing. It's so frustrating. Even with posing, like I'll have it saved on my phone.
Yes,
And I still can't do it. I
me
don't know.
too.
It's the weirdest thing. And so a lot of times I just let magic happen in the moment and I just hope and pray for it. I'm like, "Oh gosh, and this is terrible to say, but I have really bad eyesight up close, so I'm like, well, I hope my camera knows what it's doing because
Yes.
like because
Well,
I can't see a thing."
it's very refreshing to hear you say that because I literally feel like a deer in headlights sometimes
Oh
during
gosh, yes.
my style shoots because somehow this vision that I had, I can't quite catch it.
Yes.
Then I feel so dumb or like my brain isn't
Yes.
working. And
Yeah.
usually it always comes out wonderful, even if it doesn't
Yeah.
match my original vision, but I still
Right.
feel
Yeah.
weird about it.
I feel like sometimes I can hit it right on the mark and I'm
Yeah.
happy. But
Yes.
sometimes it's not what I thought it was going to be and it's even better.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like I really have my own motto of things happen for a reason and they really do. I just feel like things if it like a session doesn't work out the way it's supposed to, there's a reason for it and we capture something else that's even more magical than what I was thinking it would be.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And it's just part of living in the moment and taking
Yes.
what things happen. I'm just going to move to the next one because
Sure.
I it's the um same shoot. So
Yes.
I love that you put her in this. Well, you had a group of girls there that day,
I had three girls
but
there.
talking about who I call Brittany Mahomes. I love that you've got her here in this a little bit of wildflowers here.
Yes.
And the ladder. In fact, by the way, have you seen that reel where some grown man kind of makes fun of senior portraits and one of them is like a ladder?
No, oh
Like
my
a
gosh, I
ladder.
gotta
I
find it.
mean,
I
he
love
does it
stuff
really,
like that.
he does it really funny. But anyway, I mean, this is really cool.
Yeah, so I painted it was actually a red ladder
Oh,
that I used a few times and I painted it gold. And
okay.
originally I really wanted a taller ladder, but gosh, just getting her on that with those shoes, that ladder, that's
And
tall
on
enough.
uneven ground.
Yes,
Um,
yeah. So this is out at that bluegrass area. It's like a wildlife,
okay.
they fish there and
Yeah.
hike. I think you can hunt there, but I don't understand how anybody can hunt when there's people just walking around. Um, but it was we lucked out. I mean, it could have been a day like today where it's rainy and icky. It was
Yeah.
April. And the weather was beautiful. And it just again, it just turned out because I when I planned this with these girls, I'm like, girls, I don't know what the weather's going to be like. If it was cloudy, we wouldn't even have seen the eclipse. So, we just took what we could get and it ended up being great. I mean, we just kind of stood out in the middle of the field. Here's our flower field. That's about it. There's not much to it,
I
but
mean, it looks so good. The first time I saw this, first of all, I was so jealous.
oh,
And secondly, I'm like, dang it. I had this shoot plan. Well, I ended up doing one. I put one off, and honestly, my Ferris wheel one that you just mentioned, you talked about, you wrote a compliment or something on my Ferris wheel.
oh God, I love those.
That
Oh,
was actually postponing one shoot in part because you had done this.
oh my
And
gosh.
it's
I
a
wouldn't have
similar
done that.
vibe
It's
in the
so different. Like when I saw that, I did not think of mine at all. I all I saw was I
But
thought,
I changed it up. I was going to have her out in the middle of nowhere at some point.
oh, gotcha. But
Yeah.
still, someone else did one kind of similar right after this, and they could have done it at the same time, who knows? And I feel like no matter what, it's going to be different because it's somebody else's, putting their
Yeah,
artistic feel into it. So even though
true.
it's similar, it's theirs. Oh yeah, it was yours. Okay, that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that was me there. Okay. Yes.
Yes, I was trying to think of
Okay.
who did it, and it's yours. So
Yeah.
yes, I
Okay.
saw
How
that.
cool. So I had the outfit. I had kind of an idea. We were going to go to a desolate place. But then I saw yours and I'm like, damn, she did this so well. I'm not
Oh
going to
no,
touch
when I
that.
saw yours, I was like, that's even better.
Oh, I
Well,
love it.
so how
So,
did you do
well,
the did you
there's a park near here that has these giant glass mirrored balls sitting there, and they
oh
actually have stems on top, like they're little seeds or something
uh-huh.
growing. So I'm like, I want to do something with these glass balls instead.
Yes,
So I had to convince this girl.
really.
All my girls were frightened of this shoot. They are very curated in how they appear, and they
Yes, yeah.
scared that people would make fun of them or whatever.
Oh,
So Taylor's amazing. I begged her essentially. She agreed to do it. We had a ton of fun. And this is just standing in front of this big mirrored ball thing. Now, this is a lot of magic gone into this because there were so many reflections in this globe. You could see cars parked, you could see
oh
trash
wow.
bins. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. So I had to edit a crap ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, oops, that's another one from the same shoot. But I did then add in some of the sky, the clouds and stuff.
Yes, I
Uh,
love it.
so anyway, I think it's funny. What is in the air that we're both inspired to do these?
Yeah, I don't know, but I have to say, like when I saw yours, I was like, oh, that even took it up a level.
No, see yours. See, that's
And I thought that about the ones that you just did too. I
yes.
was like, oh man. I'm like, now that raised the bar.
Well,
The,
we have a
the
mutual.
reflection of the water and the bokeh and I mean my mind was blown. I was like, how did this happen? Like
Well, we have a mutual
so
admiration society going for sure. Well, I
yes.
was very lucky because that night it did rain the day before, so the concrete was
Oh my
wet, and that's
gosh.
what made
I
that.
mean, it makes you want to bring like a tank of water and a hose with you everywhere.
But
Do something like that.
right. Okay, we are going back to you. Another what I think of as a famous image of yours, and this was on a cover, wasn't it?
So Lisa picked that Senior Muse. That was for the Icon
Yeah.
edition at the end of the year. So
What's
Brenda,
funny? Okay, I gotta stop you, Cara. I was on the cover of the Icon edition this year.
you were?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, which picture was it?
It's the girl like holding the sun. Her hand is up and
Oh,
the sun is in her
yes,
hand.
yes. And it kind of reminds me of this. Isn't that funny?
Maybe that's why we love each other so
I
much.
know, I think so. We're like drawn to each other.
Yes. Well, tell me about this. This is beautiful. It's like just one of these that just stops you in your tracks.
Gracie and Brenna actually know each other.
And
Um,
Gracie is the Eclipse
so
girl.
yes,
Okay.
so Brenna, in both of them are dancers, but Brenna is like a ballet dancer. Like she can dance on point, and so this is another one. I swear it's the girls that have moms that have imagination and like to buy these outfits. They don't have to be like super expensive outfits, but they always have something at their fingertips that they really like that looks beautiful on these girls. So
Yeah.
Brenda's mom, because she's a dancer, I feel like the dance girls kind of know how to change really fast. They're kind of go in the moment kind of girls.
Very
Um,
body aware, so they can pose really well.
they pose well. I think Brenna poses one of the best. Of my models, she's one of the best. Besides my daughter. My daughter can pose like no other, but Brenna really could act it out too. She's very much like she loves Marilyn Monroe. We did a session where she did everything based on Marilyn Monroe. This is also at Bluegrass, so I feel like it's funny because we don't really have a lot of open areas except for Bluegrass. So this one was she had her session, I think it was in July. So very hot. I mean, the poor girl was like sweating at this point. We sweat a lot at her session, but
Yeah.
that crown is a crown that I have.
Oh,
I collected some crowns when I don't know through the years for other stuff, and I just loved it. So I told her there's like a little TikTok that we did picking up because I have three crowns. I'm like, okay, let's pick the crowns. So we just put that on her head and it very much suits her. She's very much like a queen in her own right.
I
She
have my notes out. I'm going to write do crown shoot.
Yes, that's the next one you have to do. We'll
Yeah.
send you a crown.
Yes.
But it was fun. I d- in another like I put it out there to all my models. Does anybody want to wear this crown? And like you said, they're very conscious of what people think of them.
Yes.
And Brenna's like, "Yeah, give me the crown, put it on my head." But she is like the confidence in her pose and her look. That's her. She's very much that way.
Yeah.
She's got a little bit of like a sass to her, but not like a bad sass, but like a
Yeah.
confident sass.
You can
And
see it in her face, you know?
oh yeah, and she's very confident.
Great.
So, like just kind of I loved I think the dress was a little more vibrant than it actually looks here. I think I toned it down because it was direct sunlight and it was kind of like getting near the golden hour and it was really a little too saturated. So I kind of toned it down just a smidge.
Yeah.
It's more orangey, but it just pops, with the green and everything.
Yeah.
So I loved the shot.
Gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to move on. I did want to choose your boy because
Yes.
many of us don't photograph boys as much, or if we do, it's like a quick mini. Most of my boys, not all, but do really fast, shorter shoots.
Yes.
But I don't get to have fun with them then. I do the basic. If they get 8 pictures in their mini session, I just stick
Yeah.
with the basics. So this is great. And I have seen a trend. I've always wanted to do it, but having like a boy kind of stepping off of a high place.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. Did you do it
Yeah.
a few times?
We did this a couple times. There were a couple of other ones that were just as good. I had him do one where both feet were on that bench and he would looked at me and just leaned forward. So it looks like he's falling off of it.
Oh,
And I just caught it just right. And so this is Jim. Jim is actually really good friends with my son. So
okay.
this is back a little while ago, 3 years ago. At the time, this is kind of when I started to say, I got to get back into this. So this was my kind of first, I'm going for it kind of year. So it was the graduating class of 2022. 2021 and 2022 is when I started back in full. I was doing some seniors, but it was just here and there. It was right after COVID. My son played soccer. Jim also played soccer. So I had a lot of the soccer boys, and I took soccer pictures at every single soccer game. So I knew those boys could jump up in the air.
Yeah.
And I made them wear suits. I was like, I told their moms, okay, they have to wear a suit. And this became a thing for me around that time. Like everybody knew who I was based off of these pictures because I was
Interesting.
making senior guys in a suit do something off the wall.
Yeah.
They were up in the air. They were doing things that weren't. There was another one I didn't add in, but same thing. He's jumping up off of one bench, and it looks like he's going to jump onto another one. But I really wanted to do something different with senior guys because I feel like senior guys they don't want to do it. But
Mhm.
these guys, I knew that they would do it for me, and they did. I mean, they really were like, sure, like I'll do it. Yeah. So it was
Wonderfully
fun.
done. Wonderfully done. And even with the background, you chose a really simple background that just plays right into the vision of the image.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was just he made it very easy. He's a great guy, and but all of I feel like sometimes as photographers, we're a little bit afraid to ask people to do something a little different
Mhm.
because we
I
don't want to
know.
put them in a awkward position.
Yeah.
But I just tell them, hey, just try it and
Uh-huh.
we'll see if it works. But if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. It's okay.
Yeah.
But he loved the picture. I mean, they got all the ones that we did that were a little different. So
Yeah. It's a great shot, and it's really
thank you.
interesting to hear that that became like a thing in your business,
Yeah, it
even though
really
you worked
was.
there for a while. Very
I
cool.
don't get as many senior guys now, but I wish
Yeah.
I could get more.
Maybe you will now.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, beautiful, just stunning. I have to know, are these seats really purple?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They are, which I don't really like. In this case, I
Really?
love
Oh,
it.
yeah. But
But
it's limiting another. I just like this. I like one that it's horizontal because I find that I need to shoot horizontal more often.
oh, I know. But you know what? In a lot of these, I didn't crop any of them before I sent them to you, which it's changed now. But with Instagram, the way I shot, and I'm trying to retrain my brain now, but I would shoot so much underneath the feet
Yeah,
and leave all this extra space around everybody because I had to, do a canvas wrap, and then I have to also put it on a square Instagram, and now horizontal, it's not even like you have to use something different. You can't put just a horizontal picture on Instagram anymore. It won't look right.
yeah,
So it's really, it's so challenging. Before you would just take horizontal and portrait, you just take all kinds of different things and not think about it as much. You'd think
yeah,
about the rule of thirds maybe, but
right.
again, in the moment, I can't even think about these things, but I train my brain so much to shoot, and I really don't shoot a lot of horizontal because of that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I don't know that families even hang horizontals, but it doesn't matter. I mean, that doesn't really matter because they're used for so much more than hanging, like back in the
Yes.
day when we were doing film.
Right.
Um, but yeah, like if it doesn't look good on Instagram, the girl won't post it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't hang the horizontals, but it does look nice in albums.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And it really helps to have a horizontal in there, here and there, in the
Oh,
design.
absolutely. One horizontal on a spread is so gorgeous. If you can get that in, but it's hard. It's hard
It
to get that
really is.
truly horizontal look and not have this, the subject right in the middle where the
Yeah,
seam is.
exactly. Yep, the old seam. Okay, we're gonna move on. Love it. And tell me what kind of computer work is done in this?
So in the original picture, there was a horizon right above her head.
Okay.
So I just made sure to take, because I have some where the horizon goes through like her waistline, which always drives me crazy. But I was in the moment, I was like, I'm just going to take it right above her head and see if it works. So um, most of it is, I took out like the stuff in the water that was kind of floating, like swampy look. Or seaweed or whatever it was, algae. So I took the horizontal line out from over her head, and then I just used like a sky overlay. A lot of times when I'm taking pictures, I'm outside with a client. If the sky is really pretty, I will take pictures of the sky and then put it back in somehow in some way. And this is what I did with this one. So I
Very
kind
cool.
of like went to the left, shot some pictures
Yeah.
by that had like the cloudscape. And then I just worked that back in.
That's
And
pretty neat because it's still her sky that night, it's
yes,
not some random stock sky. So it
yes.
seems more true to the environment. And I'll do that sometimes, not often, but with my sunsets, I'll grab a shot just in case
Yes,
the subject in there exposed just right, just the sky. And that way, if I need it, I try not to blow the sky, but sometimes it happens even if
it
you.
does happen. And sometimes I think, it'll just be easier just to do it later.
Yes.
Instead of like trying to fix it in the moment, which is really probably not true. But in the moment, I just want to be done with
Me
it.
too. Especially if it's like super hot out or something. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I'll just
Yes.
do this later in the
And
air
in this
conditioning.
case, the sun was starting to, it was a cloudy day. It was cloudier. Um,
Yeah.
so I was like, the sun, this was at the very end of her session, obviously, like who's going to go in water in the beginning of the session.
Yeah.
Um, and she is standing on a stool. So that was a TikTok thing. Like every girl was like, I want to do a water session. And I'm like, okay, I do too. And I'm like, but let's make it different. Like, let's not do it exactly the same. So,
Yes.
this is just inspiration. I mean, people have done this kind of look before. This is
Yeah.
not new. Nothing is
Well,
new.
you've done it very well. It's very eye-catching, and I like how the background and I like the way it's so seamless between the sky and the water.
That's what I wanted. I
Yeah.
really wanted that. I wanted it to look kind of like she was floating on glass, but you don't know
Yes.
where it's
Almost
at.
like on a planet somewhere. Is that what?
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
the just the way you said that, yes, that's exactly what I was like. It's another world,
It
but similar
is.
to ours.
Yes.
And that's what I mean about people not getting me because her mom, I sent it to her and I'm like, I'm working on something. And she's like, okay. And she had no idea what I was talking about when we were there. And then I showed her and she was like, oh my gosh, they printed this on on metal and it's a
Perfect.
24 by 36 metal print on their wall now.
That's wonderful. You always dream of people choosing the right ones.
Yes,
Make
so
big.
true.
Yes. This to me is a very Cara shoot, very Cara image. And it is wide angle here.
It is wide. That's my
Yes.
wide. See, I
Yes.
probably took 30 and the one looked good.
And it looks great. I know what you mean.
So yeah, I mean, this is one where the wide did work out in my favor. And now looking back at it, this is before like the AI stuff was a thing. And now looking at it, I want to take those railings off to the
Oh,
side.
I will barely let myself look at pictures I took more than a year ago.
Oh, I know
I
it's terrible.
nitpick them so bad. I even get
Yes.
embarrassed. Like I blush.
Yes, I know. And how can we? Like how that's being so hard on ourselves for no good
For
reason.
no
I mean, it's so
reason.
silly.
But
But yes, this is
well,
I loved this shot.
I like one thing, I love everything about it, but I do love that you've got this very neutral environment and then this just pink dramatic dress leading up to the girl. And it's just such a dramatic look. These are the type of things I love.
Yeah, me too. I love the drama.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. We're going to move on. And this, I know you've got a story. I think
Yes,
I've heard some of it before. I think you must have shared it on one of our
I did.
Facebook groups.
Yes, I
But
think, yes, it was Senior
you
Inspire.
weren't
Yes, I
even
did.
headed to this, right? Like this wasn't it wasn't in your mind when you pulled up.
No. Okay, so both that last dress and this one, they were both rented dresses from a boutique that does the online rentals. They're in Indianapolis. So this one in the blue, her mom was really, really good about, she's one of those moms that just loves to come up with ideas too, and she really wanted to rent a dress for her daughter. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we talked about going to Louisville, and this was in November. Okay, so in Evansville, November can be really cold, but this day it was like 70 degrees. So we actually shot in Owensboro, Kentucky, which is just, like 30 minutes away from us. So I always say, like, sometimes we have these serendipitous moments, and this was one of them. So we knew where we were going to shoot. I spent like a whole day making a crystal umbrella that we barely used, but I had like this vision of this darn umbrella. And we got there, and so we pulled into town, and then there was this old car that drove by, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I should follow that man." And then I'm like, "No, no, just focus on what we're doing." So we get out and we were going to shoot by, another kind of backdrop that's similar to that other one where, it was kind of a simple backdrop with white on it so that she would stand out. So as we're in the parking lot, I see this gorgeous stairwell and it's up high and the sun's on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, look at that. I'm like, it's blue. I'm like, look at that. And we're just kind of looking up and it's on a Sunday. And again, around here, nothing happens on a Sunday. There's no one around, everything's closed. And all of a sudden, this woman opens the door with this rug and is shaking out a rug at the bottom of the building. And I ran with all my gear. I had my light stand and my camera gear and my phone. And I'm running with all the stuff. And I'm like, ma'am, ma'am. And she's looking at me like, what is this crazy lady doing? And I'm like, I have to ask you a question. And she's like, okay. I'm like, do you own this building? And she said, no, I'm cleaning this building. And I was, oh, I'm like, is there any way we can get up there? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, she's like, I'll take you up there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you just have to take her. Well, poor Savannah had to walk up several flights
Oh
of
no.
stairs inside with that dress on. And I was just yelling up to her. I'm like, okay, do this, do that, and back up. And she just did a wonderful job. But it really was like, I couldn't believe it happened. I kept looking at her mom and saying, I can't believe this is happening right now. And then you can clip this part out, Lori. This homeless guy
No.
walked by as I was taking pictures and was videoing it at the time. He turned towards me and like did a fake sneeze on me.
Oh my gosh.
And I just
What?
laughing. I'm like, what is happening
Dear
right
Lord.
now? And we got it all on video, which is so funny. But
Crazy.
anyway, it was a
It's
wonderful
a
moment.
perfect picture, and I love the story because sometimes the best things are not planned at all.
Yes, and
Yeah,
this was it. I mean, I just felt like it was the most magical moment. And I've had a few of those, and this was definitely
yeah.
one of them.
Okay, now this is what I consider just a more normal scene. Is gorgeous, perfect, but a more normal senior picture. And
Yes.
I love the sticking flowers in the pants pockets. I do that too, and it's so
Yes.
cute. I bet, did you bring the bouquet for her? Did she bring them?
She brought it. So we ran out of time. I mean, this girl's gorgeous and she's so sweet. And we just had a lot of different ideas and we kind of ran out of time. So I just one night said, "Hey, let's get a couple shots." We did two outfits at this is the Howell Wetlands, and her mom had the flowers from her session that we used earlier that week, and she just brought them with her. But we have a zinnia, one of those zinnia
Yes.
garden things around us. So that's a place we can shoot with flowers. But so she went there and bought a beautiful bouquet of zinnias,
Aw.
and and then she bought a few more flowers, and they just brought them with her. I actually encourage most of my girls to bring two full bouquets of flowers that are similar so we can put them together and use them.
It's so pretty. And you've got the leading lines, which is, I always
Yeah.
love when I can get a good leading line going.
Yes.
Not only with the thing here, but you even have this little tree stump or whatever that is
Yes.
right
And I
there.
didn't take that out. Sometimes I take
I
like that.
debate all the time.
Yeah. Or
I,
another thing that bothers me, like I want to put more flowers on the left
oh,
side. And, like
but see, you
you
can
go
do that
crazy.
now with the AI, the generative fill, where
Yes.
before we couldn't really have done it in a decent way without it taking forever.
Yes.
But yeah, I over criticize my own work, and you're kind of doing that. And that, yeah, I'd be like, dang, why didn't I put more flowers over there? And
Yes.
why didn't I get rid of the tree trunk? But I don't know. I mean, there's such a thing for leaving things natural too, but
Right.
I don't know. I'm torn about it all.
And this is another one where the space, like above her head, there's so much that I didn't. So she has ripped jeans on, which I'm not a big fan of.
Okay.
So I really didn't want a lot of that ripped look in there.
Yeah.
And I find myself pushing the image up, or sometimes I do that when their shoes are bad. I cut off their feet. And I don't mean to,
It just,
but I see it and I'm like, I don't want the shoes in there.
yeah.
I I'm not purposely doing it. I just don't want to see them while I'm taking pictures. So then I'm like, oh shoot, I cut her feet off. But in this case, I'm not a big fan of ripped jeans. So her knees were ripped. So I
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
moved it up. And, but I do this where I'm like, oh, like I wish I wouldn't have done it that way. But, for the most part, I love this picture. I love the way she's looking back and
I
how
love it
her
all. And
shoulders
I
turn.
like that you've left a lot of the environment up on the top. I think there's an image style that I really love, and I just like little girl in the big world. And I think of it
Yes.
that way. And it's like put a senior girl in this massive, beautiful nature environment. And I just love just the feel of those. Now,
Yes.
this isn't as big as,
Right.
some I've seen, but I do like that you've left a lot of environment in there. I think it
Yeah.
adds to the charm. Okay, Senior Style Guide Hot 100 voting. I voted for this one so many times. You have several. I saw several of this shoot, but this one is my favorite. That girl is that gaze at you and the pose
Yes.
and the little, bokeh that you've overlaid, I assume overlaid.
Yes. I did put a bokeh over the top, and then the two, like those hazy, the
Yeah.
blue and the pink, that is also an overlay that I
Okay.
used.
Yeah. No, this is top notch right here. And this girl just sells it for you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this
Brooke
is
is
a pro
amazing.
right here. Pro photographer, pro poser right there.
Yeah, she's great. She knows how to pose and she knows how to do that gaze so flawlessly.
Yeah. Why is it so hard for us as humans to look into the lens of a camera? But it is. And then you
It's
get somebody who can do this, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, but I have to tell you a story about myself. I took up photography in a big way because I hate being in pictures. Hate it.
Okay.
I don't like the feel of it. It's uncomfortable for me. I don't like seeing myself in pictures. So I was always the one saying, I will take the picture.
Yeah.
And so I really admire girls that can, and guys. I mean, guys, I think it's harder because it is really uncomfortable. They're not used to taking selfies and stuff. They really don't do that.
Mhm.
When it's someone that can just do it, It's really amazing to me. They can just like you can feel their energy through
Mhm.
that lens.
Yeah. And that just makes the image just so much even better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she does know how to do it well. She poses very well. She's very comfortable in front of the camera. We did a ton of outfits at her like private session where we just had her. We did so much because she could pose so fast.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. But
And
you
this is
are
two lights. I usually don't do two
oh,
lights on sometimes I normally don't, just because it's cumbersome. And it was windy. I mean, you can see her hair's flying. And I was so nervous that my light was going to knock over. But I did a gel light behind and then just a, regular softbox white in front or
it's great.
on.
Like just the whole vision that you had on these. Every one is amazing. I chose this one. It just for some reason is my favorite.
I
But
do. I love the colors. I love
yeah,
color.
yeah, no, it's a great one. I'm kind of jealous of this.
Well, it really isn't hard to do. I mean, get one of those jackets. She just has that's a basic red.
Yeah, but it's just everything. You've put together this outfit, chose your model, got your environment, put in the overlays, several overlays, and it all just makes something very artistic and it's really good.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm gonna
Lori, I'm so glad you can see my vision.
you and I get each other. I am going to stop there because
Okay.
I had a couple more that we could have talked about, but it's running long the way it
I
is.
know. I
And
know.
I feel like I could just talk with you a whole other, 2-hour episode and we would barely scratch the surface.
I know. We should just look at each other's work, just go back and forth.
Yeah.
It
The
really is
Lori and
fun.
Cara podcast where we just talk about us. Oh,
Yeah, no
man.
one will watch it.
I know.
Oh gosh.
You feel very
Them
special.
again.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to end the podcast. Stay on for a minute afterwards.
Yes.
Cara, it has been amazing to getting to know you better, and thank you for coming on the podcast. I would absolutely love to get you on back on in the fall, and we can see
Oh,
some things
yes.
that you've done.
That would be great. I would love
Okay.
that.
All right. Have a good
Thank you
day.
so much. You too.
Bye.
Bye.